champion guitar players. Today I teach you how to play and use the awesome sounding exotic string bends on guitar. Now, if you like the style of Marty Friedman or Jason Becker, two of my favorite players, you're going to love what we're about to learn today. And once you hear the difference and how much more exciting exotic guitar bends can be, you'll want to use them in your own playing all over the place. Yes, exotic string bends are that cool. Now, I'll make this easy to learn and fun to play. When I first heard Marty Friedman and Jason Becker, I was blown away. Not just because these two virtuosos had incredible technical skills, but the sound and the style and the feeling was like nothing I had ever heard before. Now, I learned some of the solos and the licks from those guys, but something was missing when I tried to copy their playing. I just wasn't getting the same sound, the same killer phrasing, the same great feel. And then I saw a video of them playing, and I could now see the things that I wasn't hearing way back then when I was trying to learn it. They weren't bending strings the way that everybody else typically does. They created that exotic sound by using some pretty exotic bends. And once I figured that out, guitar playing immediately became way more fun. Now, I've taught this same technique, these exotic bends, to countless private students that I teach online. And today, I'm going to start teaching some of this stuff to you. So grab your guitar and let's get started. All right, let's check out the first example. This is a series of exotic bends, and I'll play through it and then I'll stop and we'll talk about what makes them exotic. Okay, so what's happening there is in each measure, as you see, there are two notes. There's the note that I start bending from, and then there's a note that I bend to, okay? So the note that I start from oftentimes is not in the key or not in the scale, okay? Sometimes it is, and I'll point it out when it is, but other times it's not in the scale or not in the key at all. But we're bending up to a note that is in the key, okay? So that's what gives it the exotic sound. That's one of the things. There are some other factors too, and we'll talk about this in some of the later examples. So first thing to notice is that in measure one, I'm playing an A sharp note. And I'm slowly bending that A sharp, which is not in the chord that's being played. At that point, that chord is B minor or B minor 7. Definitely no A sharp note in that chord, okay? And there's really no A sharp note in the key. Now you might be thinking, well, wait a minute. Isn't there an A sharp note in B harmonic minor? Yes, there is, but we're not in B harmonic minor. The chord progression is B minor and D. So we're not in harmonic minor here at all. So the A sharp note really is out of key. Okay, so I'm bending up a half step real slow, and then I'm going to the fourth fret. I'm moving my hand up. So once I get really close, but not quite there, the half step bend, bending up, I'm stopping the bend just short before completing the half step bend, and I'm just moving up to the fourth fret. Then the string is not bent, but I'm doing vibrato. So it's almost there. I stop bending, go to the fourth fret with the string not bent, and then add vibrato, okay, on an unbent note. That gives it a very exotic sound. Now, if you look at the next measure, we have here a C sharp note, which is in the scale, it is in the key, but it's not in the chord that's being played at that point. Do the same thing. It's a half step bend, and we're going to stop just shy of completing the half-step bend. So don't fully complete it. And then we're going to move up 1 fret with the 7th fret not bent. Okay, and then you apply vibrato. So obviously when the vibrato is happening, the string is being bent from the vibrato, but that's not the same as bending the string and then doing vibrato on top. We're bending the 6th fret, then coming down, the string is down, now we're on fret 7 and doing vibrato from there, okay? Then we've got the 3rd measure where we have the 10th fret. This is F natural. There is no F natural in the key of B minor at all, okay? It would be the flatted 5th. Okay, so I'm bending up and then hitting F sharp. Hitting F sharp again, unbent, the 11th fret, 11th fret unbent, then applying vibrato, okay? And then we do the same thing up an octave. For the B, then C sharp to D. Right, then F to F sharp. And then A sharp to B. Okay, so those set up our sequence of exotic bends. All right, so now let's take a look just at the first measure of the previous example where we have the A sharp exotic bend, half step bend, going up to the 4th fret, which is the B note. So remember, as I said before, when we do the bend, we're not actually going to bend fully up a half step. It's almost there. We're really close to that half step. We're not quite there. And then we're going to go to the 4th fret directly and resolve the bend there. Resolve the tension from the bend by going to the 4th fret, doing vibrato. So that's the first way that we can do this. Now, if you look at the next example, you'll see a variation of this. And what we're going to do here is we're going to actually produce the B note first. Why would we do that? Well, it's a different sort of feel and phrasing, but it also sets up a different expectation to the listener. So when someone's hearing, when they hear the B note first, that A sharp note is more expected. Okay, so I'm just playing the 4th fret, sliding down quickly to the 3rd fret. Then doing the slow bend, just like before, up to the B note and then playing the B. Now, one thing that you may have caught me do, you may have seen me do it, and I didn't talk about it yet, was when I did the slide, it's real fast, right? What I did earlier was I did this. I actually played the 4th fret, I slid up to no place in particular, and then slid back down to the 3rd fret. Now, you can do that also. If you do that, it will sound even more exotic because it's real jerky, okay? You're just kind of jerking your hand real fast up, again, to no place in particular. You know, any of these frets here is fine. And you come right down to fret 3 really quick, okay? And then you start this slow bend. So what this does is when we've got a fast slide, okay, we set up this expectation, this very dense rhythmic feel. We've got 30-second notes or even faster. And then we've got this real slow, drawn out bend. And that adds to the exoticism of the notes that we're playing here, okay? So the first thing I would suggest is just to slide straight down from from the 4th fret to the 3rd fret. Then do the slide. Then do the bend. Okay, so do that first. Okay. Then when you feel comfortable with that, where that's, you know, fairly easy, then try the jerk slide. Okay, we're just sliding up and then down to the 3rd fret. Okay, it's almost like a backslide, but it's not quite a backslide because we don't end up back where we started. Right, we start on 4th fret, we don't slide up and come back to the 4th fret. We're actually sliding down to fret 3, right? Okay, and that makes the sound really exotic. Now, another variation of this is to do a backslide from the note that's not in the key, in this case, the A sharp note. So what the ear hears first is the note not in key. Then you're sliding up to the note that is in key. And then back to the note not in the key. And then you start to bend. Okay, just try that real quick on your own. It sounds really cool, very exotic. These small little variations really change the feel a lot. Now, before we go any further, if you need some help with some of the string bends, okay, I've got another video on YouTube called String Bending Masterclass Advanced Guitar Lesson. And that other video, you should see up pointing up there, is a fairly advanced lesson on string bends. It's not like the basics on how to bend strings. It's more advanced stuff. So if you like that, if you're interested in that, check out that video. So the next variation is a very quick, very fast bend up, then immediate release back down, and then a slow grinding up bend from A sharp to B. So it sounds something like this. Okay, one more time. So if I slow that down, it looks like this. So that first bend, it's real quick. Try that on your own. So of course, the last few examples or variations I gave you were from the A sharp note, the 3rd fret, bending up to B. But you can try this over any of the other bends anywhere within the key. Those little variations to make the bends more exotic will help you get different feels so that when you try multiple exotic bends in a row, it doesn't sound like exactly the same thing every time, and you have some cool variations. So in terms of practicing and how to practice this stuff, remember that the exotic bends that you're doing, you want to make variations of them so that, again, they're not always done in the same way. So you can use slides in different ways, or double bends, or jerky slides, anything like that. You can bend up and then kind of release it halfway down and then go back up again. That's a really cool thing. But try it within a scale. And here's a good way to practice these exotic bends. If you take any scale and you play the scale straight up and straight down, then play the scale again, but this time bend from a half step lower into the note that's in the scale. So for example, if you wanted to bend up to a D note, you go 1 fret lower than D, which would be C sharp, play the C sharp note, and then grind up, slow bend to the D. If you wanted to play an exotic bend on an E note, same thing. You got your E note, but you start 1 half step lower. So in this case, D sharp, and you grind, slow grind up to the E note, and it will sound quite exotic, especially if the E note is in the chord that's being played at the time. So you hear a lot of that stuff with like Marty Friedman, Jason Becker, those really cool players. That's kind of their style. They do that a lot in combination with all the other cool things that they do. If you like this video on YouTube, you'll love my personalized breakthrough guitar lessons. I'm going to show you exactly how to transform your guitar playing from being just sort of okay to really being awesome. Even if you feel stuck right now or you've been having some doubts about your ability to improve, just imagine how much better your playing will be and become when you know exactly what to do, exactly how to practice, and have the guidance and the roadmap to get you there. Now, I've done this for thousands of guitar players over many, many years. And if you do the work, if you practice what I teach you at least 30 minutes a day, I am absolutely certain I can help you become the guitar player you want to be. Unlike other guitar lessons online, this is not some generic course where everybody gets the same lesson 1 and everybody gets the same lesson 2. Some of those courses are okay, but this is different. This is customized to you. This is personalized to who you are, what your goals are, where you're at right now as a guitar player, what you know, what you don't know, your strengths, your weaknesses, what you want to achieve, your experience, what your frustrations might be, and most importantly, who you want to become as a player. So check out my breakthrough guitar lessons at tomhess.net/guitar and see if they're right for you. And I'll see you on the other side.